Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways. Bitcoin at about $30,000 and Ethereum still hovering around that $1,900 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are pretty much at the bottom of the range, waiting for a nice bounce to the upside. We are waiting for this altcoin season, and in the meantime, we are looking for buy the dip opportunities. So in this video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to talk about Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but I want to talk about one project that has some interesting fundamentals, and that project is called DOGECOIN. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go bearish or bullish, up or down, all we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market. And if you can capitalize on any of that volatility, guys, do yourself a favor, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. And if you have any projects that you want me to cover in future videos, guys, hit me up on the socials. And of course, live is the best time and place to actually make those requests. Let's begin. Let's look at the general market, guys. We have a pretty dry market in the last little while. Bitcoin going sideways. Ethereum and all the major larger caps are not doing anything really. But at the end of the day, what we are really waiting for is this altcoin season. And I feel like at the end of the day, we should be scaling in and keeping an eye on those red opportunities. Now, today's video is all about Doge, and Doge did very well in the last little while, given the fact that Twitter, did get an update, and that is the primarily, the Doge fundamental. The Doge fundamental is Elon. It's basically X. And this X app now that is supposed to be doing everything could include financial payments. And this is something that Elon Musk, the CEO of X, the previous Twitter, did mention the fact that that's what, the objective is. And he does have some history, some experience in payments. So that's something to consider here, guys. Then, of course, Dogecoin ran off that idea, and it did get a nice rally up. And currently, we see that Dogecoin, in the last 7 days, did go up 6.5%, but did retrace about 3.2%. Overall, Dogecoin, in my opinion, is going to have its own fundamentals. And that's what I kind of feel here, is that Doge's own fundamentals right now is Elon. What about its fundamentals from its own behalf? And fundamentally speaking, it is a decentralized fork of Bitcoin, which is really good at the end of the day. But, what use case does it have without Elon and X? In this case, we want to see Doge actually get used somewhere with some good real world use application. And when that does happen, especially through Elon, we're going to expect some good volatility to the upside. And I don't think Elon's going to basically abandon Dogecoin. I think he's going to eventually truly integrate it within the the ecosystem there. But at the end of the day, what should we be doing in the meantime? And I truly feel it's about buying on those red days, not buying into the green price action. Guys, the general market right now is pretty sideways. And Dogecoin is taking a bit of a retracement, but the market is a bit sideways in general. You can see either we're sideways or dipping. We do have a few anomalies, up 3.8%. ICP, pretty good, not too bad. Quant going sideways. Many projects right now are retracing. Immutable X got a nice little pump overnight, which is really nice, but nonetheless has been retracing in the last couple hours. So something to consider here, that, there are good green days, but, there are also days of red where we can buy low. And obviously, Cashback coming down 4.5%, give or take. I think Cashback can come down a lot more, in fact, if it starts breaking critical levels of support. It's been on a rampage the last little while, and it's due for a retracement. It's due for a healthy retracement back to range lows, figuring out the structure and then figuring out where we should be buying the dip. Guys, go check out the previous videos. Join the Discord, guys. The Discord is a great place to actually get updates throughout the day. Great community, basically great community, sharing a lot of alpha, a lot of good fundamentals. Go check that out. What else do we have here? Phantom at the bottom of the range. Pretty interesting scenario given that Phantom got a layer of FUD. It didn't really dip too much. That's a sign of strength in my behalf. That's what I think. What else do we have? Kava coming down, going sideways. GMX continuing to the upside, up 10% in the last 7 days. Guys, for me, that's really, really good to see a DEX, climb to higher levels. Frac share, another one doing pretty good, 8.5%. Flexcoin going sideways, but still within that range. You're looking at, 10% give or take. So that is pretty good nonetheless. Casper is still within range, but looking strong. And a few more guys, retracements throughout the market, Trust Wallet coming down and a few more guys. We talked about a couple of good projects in the last little while, and the narrative right now is pretty interesting with regards to these trading bots. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I did a bit of research last night. It sounds pretty good in theory. In application, I feel like I'm going to wait to kind of see what happens. And of course, waiting, sometimes you do miss out on some of these good opportunities, nice and low. Getting a bit of exposure is, obviously great, but they did run up, especially some of the heavyweights in that narrative. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the next couple of days. We're still very early, guys. We're still very, very early to accumulate at good risk to reward ratio opportunities. Look at Bone Shiba swap. Pretty interesting. Nice rally up. That DEX is looking good on the Shiba ecosystem. What else do we have? Bitcoin Gold looking strong. Illuvium, I'm interested. Nice little rally up, looking strong there. So again, we talked about Jasmy the other day. Jasmy right now is doing pretty good, up 8%, while this market is looking a bit weak. So I would be considering, getting a defensive mode right there on some of these projects, because as the market is showing us negativity, if there are some anomalies where you're rallying up, where the price is actually going up, it's fair enough to say, it's going against the trend of the entire market and you should be very, very defensive. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. Look at this little retracement here. Of course, Bitcoin right now trying to hold some support, and we see the rest of the market is pretty much following Bitcoin's lead. The altcoins are dipping down just a bit. Bitcoin's dipping down just a bit. Now, what would happen if Bitcoin does come down to those lower levels? 27,000, 25,000, give or take. That's what I'm looking at in the immediate short term. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin going sideways also gives altcoins that opportunity to go into an altcoin season. And of course, we're looking at many of these altcoins, including DOGECOIN. And of course, today's video is all about DOGECOIN. I want to take a look at Doge in a little bit more detail. But what's happening here with the 4-hour time here with Bitcoin? See, it did fully reset now. We're getting a little bit of confidence with the fact that perhaps that we got into the oversold conditions and that this might be forming a short-term bottom for a little bit of relief to the upside, and that relief could take us slightly higher, just around that $30,400 level. And then for me, that would be a level of, maybe, again, taking profits if you're in a long, or maybe building that short position once again, building upon that short position for a continuation down. I want to see a $27,450 Bitcoin. If we get down to that level, I would consider then that we should be getting a nice bounce to the upside, given the fact that we do have a pretty fat volume gap right into this zone, which means that if we fall here, a bounce off this horizontal could take us right back up to 29,000. And then that's when, again, you take profits, right? You're looking for weak spots in the charts. And then overall, understanding that that weak spot could give you the volatility that you're looking for to get into a trade, both long and short. Okay, guys? So that's what we do here on the channel. We look for long, shorts, depending on what the market is giving us at that current moment. Guys, we don't mind. All we want to do is capitalize on volatility. Of course, if you appreciate that, subscribe and click the bell. All right, let's continue. Let's get right into Doge. Doge, of course, in the last little while has been doing very well. Many people rallying behind Dogecoin, of course. And to be honest, I don't really consider the Twitter and Elon fundamentals at this point. I consider it just a bunch of hype, which is great. Great. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. As long as we make gains, guys, no issue. I want to make those gains as well. And if it's going to run up based on hype, I'm about that. And any potential news, front running the news, I'm all about that. But at the end of the day, what we should understand is big picture. We are still in a bear market. And unless Elon actually gives us a real good indication that Doge is finally going to pick up on the back of X and Elon's, network that he's got going on there. We got to be very, very careful with the potential gains that we make here. Now, we're at the bottom of the range. Let's get into the daily for a second quick, just to kind of see what we've been talking about in the last little while. And the last time I talked about Doge has been a bit. So, at the end of the day, we had some time to get into a good swing trade. And the swing trade best risk to reward ratio opportunity was right down here at these levels at about 5.7 cents. And that's when I came out with the update talking about, this getting in long right now is absolutely perfect, because you can see your invalidation. Your invalidation is below the previous lows, and below those previous lows you have a bit of a volume gap that the bulls are going to want to protect. The bulls are going to want to protect this liquidity, and you can see that we did get a nice little bounce off of these range lows. So for me right now, a bounce off of range lows into profit for me is a time to get a little bit defensive, particularly with the fact that the daily RSI right now is getting into overbought territory. So be careful here, guys. This is the time to actually consider getting defensive, protecting your gains, protecting your capital. Even though we didn't create a higher high, it's very possible that we get a rejection here any moment now. Okay, so this is what we look for, is the momentum. This is why I'm very skeptical about basically putting targets out there without considering momentum is quite dangerous. The only thing that I can say is, okay, fine, maybe we have a bit of a trend, lower lows here, and bottoms, nice strong bottoms, and getting bounces off these bottoms. But what I don't like, or what I do like if you're going long, in this case, is that there is a weak spot above, and you can see that the volume does taper in quite a bit right at these tops. So you're getting a bit of confluence here with these tops. Now, as you get to the actual tops of this price action, there's very little volume. Okay, you might see these as big spikes of price action, and they look very basically concerning, with the fact that it could show strength up there. But the reality is these tips don't have much volume in them, and this is why I look at the VPVR, just to give me that confidence as to where I should be putting my horizontals. And if you look at it, this is more or less where we start to lose a lot of the interest with supply and demand in this price chart. So above this is a weak spot. And I'm going to show you what I mean by maybe putting in a box right about here. And you can see that it's very difficult to actually get accurate here, but you can see that this is probably the weakest spot in the chart currently, above, let's say, basically 9.7 cents. Above 9.7 cents, we don't have much resistance, and we can snap to those higher levels and get to about 12 cents. Now, each time we've done that, we've created lower lows. So anticipate that as that happens, we're getting a bit of confirmations that the price does not want to get up there, but eventually it could crack right above, because as we come down, we pick up bullishness, we pick up bullish bids, market participants that want to accumulate and hold, and every time we break above, it starts to get crack away at resistance. Now, it's not a horizontal resistance, which is problematic. I wish it was cracking away at horizontal. In fact, right now we're pretty much building a diagonal resistance, and you can see this diagonal right now, maybe right about this, looking like that, is very evident. So if we do break above, it could be very possible that we start contending with horizontal, which for me is at about 9.8 cents, give or take. And if we break above, the next area to be concerned with is about 12 cents. Okay, now again, big picture, right now Dogecoin is indefinitely accumulation phase. Now, I'm giving you these price targets because, we want to be protective. We want to definitely protect it. But what about the bull market, accumulation? What are we going to be doing about that? Of course, don't exit your entire positions, guys. We're talking about short-term spots here. Take a bit of profit here. Take a bit of profit at the top of the volume gap at 12 cents. But at the end of the day, you should be holding a bit of Dogecoin and understanding that the game is up and down. Okay, and if you're able to buy range lows, great. Right now, it's very likely that you won't be seeing down for a bit. You won't be seeing red, because in order to see red, you would have to actually break down these previous lows, which is a lot of work right here. I don't think that's going to happen very easily to break below, that 6 cents level. Okay, so for me, I'm looking at taking a bit of profits on my short-term spots here in Doge, but at the same time, understanding that the bull run is going to be around the corner. It is going to be coming around. And then at the end of the day, you want to have a little bit of an allocation, because I anticipate that if any fundamentals are going to be allocated to Doge with regards to X and Elon, it would be ideal to see it happen in the bull market. right? It could be that that's the timing for that kind of news and event to happen. And if it does happen, you're going to see Doge do very, very well. Okay, so this is the thing here. Sideways price action indicates accumulation. Good levels of support here at about 6 cents. We're kind of consolidating. At the bottom of the range was the greatest time to get into a long position. On the daily, we are getting slightly overbought, so be careful and take your profits on your short-term spots. Let's get into the 4-hour. Again, you can see that as the price is climbing to those higher levels, again, we're getting a bit of resistance here, higher highs on the RSI, which no bearish divergence just yet. A little bit, in fact, a little bit, guys, a little bit. Let me show you what I see here. A little bit of divergence at a diagonal resistance, which I don't really like too much. I like my horizontals a lot more, and you can see we're kind of entering that horizontal, but this is where the real weakness. You can see that there's begins the tapering in of the volume right there, so consider that. But the bearish divergence, you can see that the price action right here is still going up, higher highs on the price action. But look at the RSI, even stemming from about here, we are downward sloping. So for me, guys, that is a sign of weakness here as we got into overbought conditions. As each impulse to the upside, does, come about here on the price, we can see that the momentum is slowly rolling over, and the MACD is definitely overextended. EMAs are facing down, red histogram bars are being painted as we speak. So it could be that we do get a bit of a dip here very soon. And this is why I am saying, if you got into a long position, I know it's a very small scenario down here at the bottom of the range, consider protecting yourself by trailing up a stop loss. And you're looking at right now, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but where we are right now, you're looking at about a 36% pump to the upside on a swing trade up. So that's perfect. Nobody has gone broke taking profits, and especially at 38% gains. Okay, so something to consider. That in the short term, we could be getting a bit of resistance based on this diagonal, but horizontally, we haven't even gotten there yet. So be patient, take profits bit by bit, DCA in, DCA out, guys. That's the way you do it, guys. And if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor by slapping that like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord group. Great community, great place to gain that alpha, to share some of your thoughts and trade setups, guys, all day long. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.